Is everybody on now?
Yeah, I think you're good to go, Brenda.
We're good to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Brenda.
Wow, quiet crowd this morning. It's Friday, everybody.
I
Right.
know. We should
So-
be happy.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about more leads. So everybody talks about, you know, the shift in the market, and the shift that we've had in the market is an economic shift. Normally when we have a shift in the market over, you know, my 16 years, the shift has either been buyers balanced or seller's market. This time we've had an economic shift and we're still in a seller's market. Now, the economic shift that we've experienced that is making this so difficult, this market so difficult, is that it's the interest rate that consistently went up over the fall. So what happened is in the fall, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this because it happened to me, it happened to all the agents, doesn't matter, top agent, new agent, it makes no difference. When there's a shift, and it affects everybody. So the interest rates started to climb in the fall. So in September, we were still getting buyers that were purchasing, they were locked in at 3.75. And then in October, November, December, that is an agent's time where you build your January, February, March closing. Sorry for the dog, guys. I might have to get up and put her out. That's when you build your sales for the fall. So what for the winter, sorry. So basically you're storing your nuts for the winter time in those last 3 months of the year. So what happened in those last 3 months last year, I'm gonna have to put this dog out, sorry. All right, I'm back. So what happened in, and I really love to hear some feedback on this, especially like Grant, you know, anybody out there, you know, that's been long-term, Linda, Holly, anybody like long-term in it for comments on this, because this is it's a discussion that needs to be had. So the buyers stopped buying. The buyers just shut down. The whole country was standing. They did. The whole country was standing back watching what the fuck is going on? What's happening? Right? So agents and I talked to my coach, I've talked to agents in Ontario, I've talked to agents out west, right across the country. And we're all saying, hey, wait a minute, we have no nuts for January, February, March. There's no stored nuts. So the majority of agents right now are behind the 8 ball, including me, right? So that's why lead generation right now is so important. So that's the big conversation we're going to have today. And I love one of the slides that's coming up on here. So Grant, can you hear me? Grant?
Sorry, are you talking to me?
Is Grant Sprague on? Or is this another Grant?
This is another Grant.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
No
hi,
worries.
Grant.
Hello.
Okay, well, I'll add, who else is on here? I know Linda and Holly, I just heard from, anybody else on here that's been more than 5 years in the business?
Nope, not me.
Okay, all right, okay. So here's the difference of what's going on now and what has happened in the years. So like I said, all the years I've been in, this is the toughest shift I've seen. And Linda, I'm sure that you feel the same way. Holly, I know
Yeah.
you've been in probably almost
Yeah.
as long as I have, feel the same way.
Yep,
So-
I do.
So when I was talking to somebody there yesterday in Ontario, they have agents in their office taking shifts at the keg. Not new agents. Right?
Wow.
So,
It's weird because you think, Ontario, like Toronto, like that market was just so crazy amazing. And now it's not. That's how easy things can change.
right, right. So anybody that came in, that got their license since 2020, you experienced something that's over. And now the real world of real estate is going to hit you. Right? So when you first start, you have this huge adrenaline rush. And you just, and you were in this insane market. Right? So I was talking to somebody the other day, and in 2021, they did $100,000. And last year they sold 8 houses. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is lead generating, how important it is. And you guys are so lucky. It's just starting, all of you guys out there that are starting the business, is to get this kind of training, because you guys know I love Ignite. So yeah, so we're going to talk today, generate your leads, growing your database, capture the leads with open houses. Open houses, I was literally a rock star on open houses. They were one of my favorite sources of buyers.
Mine too, Brenda.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about systems that work, prospecting versus marketing, gold mine and referrals, more sources. Here's one of my questions to everybody out there that has had me on for a couple sessions now. I gave you guys a really good script. I think it was my first or second Ignite with you. Has anybody picked up the phone and used the script that I gave? Yeah, I see somebody nodding. Oh, Flynn.
Is that which was that? I pretty well wrote down everything. That I haven't talked to you for a lot, the apology script or something?
Well, I was thinking about you today, and I want to reach out to, it's been 3 years. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I look at the
Yeah.
database, I see the last time I talked, and I say, this, because I made 15 phone calls yesterday. I had 15 conversations like this yesterday. Now, my God, where did 3 years go? So this COVID thing for these calls are perfect. And then I look and I say, we haven't spoke since the world went crazy in 2019. Tell me about the family. What have you done to the house? Have you made any changes? Some of the conversations were like that. And then I say, as far as real estate, there's so many misconceptions out there with what's going on in the market right now. What are your thoughts on the market? What's your opinion? And then I let them talk. I know the numbers. I know that there was 645 active listings right now. There were 29 went conditional. There were 55 that sold. There were 13 that went over asking, and the average over asking was 27,000. That's the kind of information you want to have when you're talking to people, right? So I do mine on Monday, so I know the information. If you want to have that information at your fingertips, just do what my girls do. Just watch my video on Monday, copy it and paste it. They just take the numbers, they fill in a template and they paste it, and makes them look like the expert. So just go on Monday mornings, do your thing, or Friday, whatever day you want to do it. But before you start making these calls, because people love to talk about real estate. Did you guys all love to talk about real estate before you got into real estate?
It's funny, I didn't. I loved talking staging. But I never, and I know there's a ton of people that aren't even thinking about buying a house because they're retired, they're in their condo or not condo, but they're in their, retirement place or whatever, and they still watch the market. They still know the market. It's crazy. It's just, people love it.
People like to talk about it, and they like to hear the facts. So then the ending of the conversation with me is, this is the perfect market. I love baby boomers. I love baby boomers and downsizing. I'm one of them. I've already downsized from my family home to a 1 level. And then my next move will be into a much smaller, either 1 level or an apartment, one or the other. So that's how I end the conversation and say, this market, this is perfect for baby boomers, seniors. They're looking to downsize, where they want to go, get on a list, get their house ready. Is there anyone in your world that's making that move? So that is a great script to use right now for people, right? And you want to try and have 10 conversations a day. All right, so 10, I'm going to give you guys some, just let me look. I meant to have this open before I started, but give me 1 second here. All right. 10 meaningful conversation a day leads to 5 opportunities that provide value, which leads to 2 business opportunities now or in the future. If you have your 10 conversations every day, even 4 days a week, you've now, say you do it 5 days a week, you now have 10 opportunities for the future. Right? So it's really important. Make those calls. So you love people, but at the same time, you haven't yet learned to love hunting for them. So I love that saying. That is so true. It's so true. Okay. So your number 1 job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. So we're going to talk about messages and method today, matching your market. You know what's going on. What market do you want to be in? First of all, what is your niche? Who do you want to work with? Right? If you try and just be so broad, right? So whenever I do a call to action on any of my videos, it's always to baby boomers and seniors all the time. My geographical farm has a lot of baby boomers and seniors in it, intentionally, right? Who's your target audience and what are the market conditions? And this is the biggest, because remember, the agent that knows what's going on and can talk, or when somebody says what's going on, if somebody says, well, how's the real estate? Well, that depends. Are you thinking of buying, selling, or investing? Right? And then method 2, we're going to talk about today, is your prospect market, prepare, take action, and maintain. Does anybody know the difference between sales and marketing? So anybody that knows me, has ever worked with me, I hate being called a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not selling the house. My clients are selling their house. So the difference between sales and marketing, if to put it back, say I'll use my old world as an example. When I wanted to sell pepperoni to Sobeys, I went to the buyer in Sellerton and I sold them. I got them to accept the price and do all the listing docs and everything that had to go with it. Marketing is now, how do I get Mr. and Mrs. Consumer to pick the Chris Brothers brand over the Brothers or the Tonys? That's marketing. They're 2 completely different things. And it's really important in this business to really look at that as the difference. Approach, connect, and ask. So when you're talking to people, I have met buyers and sellers in a movie line. I've met them at a restaurant that I get talking. I definitely am not aggressive. I do know there was a friend of mine one time was in a movie theater waiting for the movie to start, and they saw this person jumping from seat to seat. The lights were still on, and it was actually a realtor going to everybody trying to give them business cards, and it so turned them off. So there's being like in your face, trying to connect, and then just a nice gentle connect and working it into the conversation. Any ahas? Who here thinks of themselves as a salesperson?
I always said I was, but now that I listen to and I say I've been in sales and marketing for 25 years, which is an honest statement. But I love your distinction.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, because really, we are not buying or selling anything. We're not buying a
No.
house or selling a house. We're helping others to do that. So, salesperson is a broad name
Yeah.
given to, whatever, but I'm a real estate advisor maybe, or I never call myself a salesperson either. I'm not in
So,
sales.
my mission statement for my company reads just this. We are client service professionals. We offer superior service and we excel at trading real estate on our clients' behalf. That's the mission statement for my company. And as a entrepreneur and someone that owns your own company, you should all have a mission statement. Every company has a mission statement, and you are now a company. Right? So, and you're right when you said about the 25 years, Tanya, of the sales and marketing. My very first job in sales was with Skippy Peanut Butter. I was sales. That's all we did down here in Dartmouth. Marketing was in Toronto. So it's a huge distinction. So as a listing agent, I have two roles as a listing agent. So my number one role is marketing to attract the buyers to your property. And once we get a buyer on paper, my second and most important role is to negotiate the highest price with all the best conditions in your favor. There's my two roles, marketing and negotiation. So prospecting versus marketing. I love this today because I am huge in marketing. I love it. So lead generation is a contact sport with simple rules. It means making contact with people through prospecting and marketing. So before I flip to the next slide, can anybody tell me the difference between prospecting and marketing? Wow, really quiet here today.
Wouldn't prospecting be like, trying to find the leads, and then marketing is, I don't know, marketing yourself or something? I don't know. They seem to be two totally different things to me.
Yeah. Marketing is a direct action you take that is one-on-one or one to a group. And marketing is a wider scope to attract people, potential buyers and sellers to your brand. So when I left, so my previous job was to build the Chris Brothers brand. We had no business. We had one store in the city. That was it. And our competitors were brothers. They'd been out there for 30 some years. So that's what, and I went up against that old boys world, which I've talked about before. So one of my biggest jobs there was to build the brand. So when I left that and I get into real estate, I said, well, I'm going to take that same concept I did with Chris Brothers, and I'm going to turn Brenda Kay into a brand, which is what I did. So that's the marketing side of it.
And Brenda, before you move on to your next slide, I was wondering if, I loved how you said that you're marketing to attract buyers to a property, and then once there's a buyer, you're negotiating the highest price and with the best conditions. That statement is beautiful, but that statement sort of, to me, speaks to if you're listing the property. How would you modify your message if you're like me and you're working to mostly find buyers because I'm a newer realtor?
Okay, the same, basically have the same message for buyers. So when I'm sitting with a buyer and I tell them, you are retaining me as your real estate consultant. I am your voice out there. My job is to find you the house of your dreams and negotiate the best price for you, the best conditions, all in your favor. Does that work for you?
Okay, thank you.
So every time you're talking to clients, so when I go into a listing appointment, I was in a listing appointment yesterday, and the first thing that I say to people, the two most important things for me to do for you is to get you the highest price for your home in the shortest amount of time. Does that work for you? So I really encourage anybody, if you have not taken the language of sales through KW, take the link, just 1 second. I've got this guy. Just one. Hi, Mike. I'm just on a conference call. Yeah. 426 Caldwell Road. Okay. All right. As soon as I'm out of this, I'll be on it. Okay. All right. Bye. Sorry, guys. This is a buyer. Buyers in this market, of course, are a little bit frantic because so prior to COVID, if a house was listed, you didn't have to literally, you didn't have to get in there. Right? You could say, okay, well, what day works for you? This day works for me. But now
Right.
in this market, if you're not in there, it's insane. Yeah. Not an enjoyable one. I don't find it enjoyable anyways. So catching leads, the likelihood of a move, 7 to 10 years. If you're working with your database, you want to make some calls, call some people that have been in their house for 5 years or more. If you want to target, if you want a happy anniversary call, go back 5 years, call your people from 5 years ago, right? Those people, they may be making a move, but here's the big thing is those people probably their mortgage is up for renewal. So we want to have that conversation with them. Not even making a move, but you know, I don't remember from 5 years ago, what was your interest rate? You know, you're going in to here. I tell them about Cyrus and I say, right now, this is what Cyrus is offering. Is there anything you want to talk about interest rates or any information I can get you on that? Right? Because they're all renewing right now for 5 years. Right. The ones that bought in February 22 was the lowest interest rates in history. People were 1.8, and I talked about this on our last session. In 2027, they're going to be hit like thunder. So 2025 to 2027, that's where we're going to see that huge amount of people going from 1.8, and I hope to God the interest rates are at least at 4% by then for those people. So marketing is very money intensive, it's very passive, and it's long-term results, right? If you're going to do geographic farming, don't expect anything for at least 7 to 9 months, right? I lucked out on my geographic farm and I listed one, the very first month the letter went out, but nothing since. And that was 9 months ago. Prospecting is time intensive, it's proactive, and it's immediate results. So the prospecting, phone or face-to-face, if you can't get a hold of it, does anybody know what BombBomb is? BombBomb? No? I love BombBomb. BombBomb is a video Vmail. You can make, it's not very much money. I can't remember. I mean, I paid for the pro version, but you can get a basic version. I don't need, maybe $20 a month. I don't even know. But no, I can't. I'm on a Zoom class.
Yeah, I just want to know what you want for coffee.
Oh, my husband's so sweet. A medium decaf double milk,
And
blueberry. Fair. Okay. Now I lost my train of thought. BombBomb is such a nice personal message because they see your face. And some people, like I have this guy, Paul, that I call, I don't know if I told this story or not, but I've called for years. And I just always leave a message. Hey, it's Brenda, sorry I missed you. And I never leave a long rambling message, by the way. Hey, it's Brenda K, so sorry I missed you. That's it. That's the message. Anyways, I now send him BombBomb all the time, and he always responds to them. So if you haven't looked into it, it's great. FSBOs, we're not allowed, sorry, I don't know what's going on there. FSBOs, we're not allowed to market FSBOs. We're allowed, I meant to say expired listings. We're not allowed to market expired listings. FSBOs, I'm not a fan of FSBOs. I don't do them. Never liked them. If they want me, they'll call me. So I find it very difficult to go in and try and talk to somebody that thinks we're worthless. And that is what a FSBO seller normally thinks, is that we don't add value to it. So, but other agents in our office, they are rock stars at FSBOs. And they do very, very well. So if any of you guys do want to do them, talk to the brokers and see who, or talk to Laura Lee and see who really rocks out on FSBOs. And they will help you. Circle prospecting. Circle prospecting is when you do an area, like when I used to do open houses on Saturday morning, I would walk 20 or 25 houses on either side of it. And then I would walk those houses, those 50 houses all across the street. Or if it was a crescent, I would walk the whole crescent. And I always use bags, and I would put an open house invitation, couple candies, and a business card and let everybody know. When you get a listing, you can do a just listed and you can walk the neighborhood. Doing a mail out, unaddressed mail has gotten really expensive. I used to do unaddressed mail. We could pick very small little parts of the postal code map. You can't do that anymore. I think the cheapest you can go out there is $600. I'm not spending $600 on a just listed card. Recently sold, huge, agents use them all the time. They sell a house, boom, out goes that. Again, you can walk them. And recently listed properties, community outreach, your church, any volunteer program you want to do. But here's the thing, make sure it's altruistic. Like it's nice to meet these people. Like I have a new group called Women Wine Wednesday. It's not about real estate. It's not about networking. It's in support of Add Some House. And the rule is there's no business cards exchanged. Like I tell people, if I see you take a business card out, I'll walk you to the door. That is about women just being there for women. Now, will somebody call me? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. That's not the point of it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're going to do volunteer or charity work and business comes out of it, I think it's great. But if you go in there, it's just my belief. But if you go in there with the sole purpose of all this is to me is picking up business, that's just not my jab. Key relationships, corporations. If you used to work for a corporation, when I first got my license, I went and talked to the HR person at Superstore that I knew. I talked to the HR person at Sobeys that I knew and said, hey, let's talk about anybody you're transferring and moving around, right? If you know an HR person, do you know anybody in that world? Give them a call. Are they working with any agents? Build some connections like that. Builders, most builders, they have their agents. A lot of the builders now, their agents are their nephews, their daughters, their sons, their cousins. They've all kind of come of age. Banks, mortgage brokers, that's a great one. Here's the thing, when you connect with somebody and you want to have a relationship and you want to trade business, make sure that because you remember the most important thing in this business is our clients. That's really all that matters, is our clients. So I remember going to, it's called BNI, and they want to exchange referrals, and the person that owns it makes money off everybody. And I tried it about 14 years ago, and I didn't like the concept. And then another woman started it again here a few years ago and tried to get me back into it. And it was the same concept. And the concept is to trade referrals for the sake of trading referrals. I need to know who that person is. So in other words, I didn't know the mortgage broker that was in that BNI, the one that I didn't stay. I went to a few meetings and said, I'm out of here. This is not for me. make sure that you're happy with the people you're referring, that you're talking, because when you build these relationships, especially a bank, you're building that relationship. You're going to be sending your clients to this person. Make sure you're comfortable with them. Make sure that they have the same values that you have when it comes to your clients, and make sure they communicate the same way you do, that you want to. Third-party data companies, investors, teaching, speaking opportunities. A lot of people hold seminars. We used to have buyer seminars. COVID kind of ended all that. Some people are doing them online now. This says meals, but I always think of that as coffee dates. I love coffee dates. One of our girls goes on coffee dates all the time. She has a couple a month, and she really enjoys it because she gets to catch up with people. So door-to-door canvassing. Okay. I don't like door knocking. Linda, how much do I hate door knocking?
You hate door knocking.
I fucking hate door knocking. No question. So what did I do the other day?
You door
I-
knocked us out.
I door knocked. I door knocked.
And
Yeah, the only time I will door knock is if I have a buyer for the neighborhood. That's it. That's the only time I'll door knock. Because I actually have a reason to be out there. So I have 2 buyers that want to be in certain areas in South End Halifax. So what I did the other day is I put together, so this is the bag that you order them. They have little holes on them. There's a very nice letter written there. And I put in because I want them to remember me. This is a great marketing piece to give people. This is a magnet for your fridge. This is whatever content you give people. This is why I don't buy calendars, people. Anything you give them that you want them to put on their fridge, you want it to be evergreen. This is the emergency and important contacts in Halifax. So this has fire, ambulance, police, poison control, animal control, Nova Scotia Power, Crime Stoppers, and Kids Help Phone. Do you think someone's going to take that off their fridge?
all right. What do you
No.
mean by evergreen? Just always in bloom?
Evergreen means that it never goes out of date.
Right,
It's
okay.
always relevant. So my stat videos are not evergreen.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
My
It's
video,
a stats change, right?
right, yeah. A video about staging is evergreen,
Right.
never changes. So, and then I put in, because it's South End Halifax, I use my luxury cards. I've just been selected as the KW luxury agent to represent Atlantic Canada, which was a really big compliment to me. But trying to break into that world is, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little scary. So I don't run in the circles with the rich. And then I put a couple candies in. So if they're home, I have a quick chat. And you don't say to people, are you thinking about selling your home? Right? Because they feel like they're put on the spot. So when you're talking to somebody and you're knocking on the door and having a conversation and saying, like I said, hey, look, I've got a family, just loves your neighborhood. They're moving here from Ontario. Do you know any of your neighbors or anyone in the immediate neighborhood, the surrounding neighborhood that may be thinking of selling their home? So I don't ask them directly. Okay. Networking events, love them. Please, please, please go to as many networking events as you can. There is even one, now I don't go to this one, but there is one, I think it's called the Ladies in Real Estate Networking event or something in Halifax, right? I'm not going to that one because I'm not going to get any business from other realtors.
Right.
I'm going to have a nice night, right? But I'm not going to get any business. And I'm very focused when I go somewhere. If I'm going networking, I'm going for a purpose. It's not altruistic. It's business. That's what I'm going for. So I would go online and I would find any networking events I could. 2 of my favorites were Mount St. Vincent has used to have a women's networking thing once a month. And there was one that O'Regan's used to hold. I don't think they hold it anymore, but I would go to that one every month. Booths and kiosks, you have to own them. If anybody doesn't know what they are, there's certain companies that used to have kiosk in the mall, like the old Penhorn Mall, Century 21 owned the kiosk there. There was a mall out in Sackville where Exit owned the kiosk there. And then walk-ins. Like, so remember, walking into Micmac Mall and looking for business, you'll get escorted out. So you can't do that. But walk-ins, say putting your newsletter out. So what I would do years ago is I would do my newsletter up and I would go around Burnside. And I literally would walk into these offices and have conversations with people. And I started with just the ones I knew, and then I kind of expanded a little bit. So they knew every month I was coming. So there was about 20 that I would go to, and I'd have a quick little chat. So I don't know why there. I don't know why they did the same slide twice. So offline advertising, which we all know, right? Anything not on social. Radio, super expensive. Doesn't really get you a lot of business unless you really, really commit to certain station. I tried it on C100. I did it for a year. And remember Gary Keller's rule? There's green light, red light. Green light is go with an idea. If it doesn't work, red light, stop it. Did I mention to you guys about the book, Go for No?
No.
Okay, so there's a book. It's called Go for No. Everything that I've accomplished in business is because I failed so many times. I have no problem saying that. I've screwed up so many times, whether it be the meat business or real estate. I've done things, marketing things that absolutely fell flat, cost me a lot of money, get me nothing, right? So the more times you fail, get them out of the way for when you're ready to succeed. So I find this book called Go for No. I listen to it in my car and I'm like, man, that's me, right? So I want everybody to remember, and this is based on what has happened to me in business over the last almost 40 years, is, failure is just a stepping stone on your path to success. You need to have those failure steps because they will help you grow. They really will. Radio was an ultimate failure. It ended up costing me $15,000 and got me
Holy
not
smokes.
one lead on it. TV, extremely expensive. Not even the top agents do TV. The only one that does TV, it is Laura Lee Gillis from East Coast.
Right.
Newspapers, what's that?
I was going to say, do you remember Channel 13 years ago? And
Yes.
it was the actual real estate channel.
Yeah,
That
we
was-
all used to put our listings.
Yeah,
On
that was a
that.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was cheap. Right.
That was totally worth it just to even get your name out there and, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Right. So, yeah. And it was really inexpensive. It was good.
Right.
Probably
A
why they took it
TV
away.
A TV segment for Chris Brothers ran me $75,000.
Good God.
Yeah, it is insanely expensive. Right. Again, newspapers, nobody uses them anymore. Personal vehicles, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not wrapping my car. But some people love it. And if you like it, I think it's awesome. I really do. Bus stop benches, magazine billboards. There was only one agent in this city that did billboards, and she's done them for 20 years. And that was Mariana Cowan.
Yeah.
And that was the only billboards you saw in Halifax.
Jill Sutherland
So, sorry,
Jill Sutherland would do them as well.
not on a continual basis. Jill used to work with Mariana years ago. At one point, she was Mariana's listing agent. But for 20 years, nonstop, Mariana Cowan had her billboards out. And they all said, your home sold in 20 days or we buy it. Because she was under the Craig Proctor program. And they have been out there. That's why when I first got into real estate, I went to Mariana's office because I loved her marketing. Her marketing drew me to her office. I wasn't on her team, I was an independent, but it drew me to her office. So because I had been following her, even when I was in the meat business, I would follow her in real estate. So last week, I'm driving from, I still call it the Armdale Rotary. I don't know what it's called now, but I'm driving from between the Armdale Rotary and getting to the lights at Windsor to go to the bridge. 5 agents, billboards, 5.
Yeah.
And billboards, when I did billboards for a year because of course I was with Mariana, right? She loved her billboards. She did really good. So in 2010, I did billboards. I had no business. I got no business. You have to sign a 1-year contract. And back then it was $1,000 a month plus tax.
Wow.
And I got not one phone call. Right? So why do you think I didn't get any phone calls? It was 100% my fault because my message was wrong. So,
What was your message?
I can't, you know what? I can't remember exactly what it said, Holly. But the fact that it didn't get me any business tells me it was wrong. Nobody called me.
Right.
Right. So that was a $12,000 failure. And back then I had to borrow $12,000 to do that. So now I had no business and I had to pay back $12,000.
Yeah.
Yellow pages, nobody uses them anymore. Grocery carts, moving vans. Oops, sorry. I think, did we go back a slide? There we go. Online advertising, pay-per-click advertising. Pay-per-click is not one of my favorites. I've tried that too. So you guys are getting to hear how many times I failed, right? Pay-per-click is very expensive. If you're not going to put the really big dollars into it, you're not going to rank. The systems that CRT Marquee uses, those systems are $2,500 plus a month. They start at $2,500, right? Some of the top agents out there, Sandra Pike, for example, spends a minimum of $1,500 just on her Google Click, her paper ads, not including all her other marketing. I know another guy that he does faithfully $1,000 every month. Pay-per-click ads, aren't they fun to call, Linda?
Yeah, lots of fun. Continuous.
It was so bad. I hired my sister for free. I hired my sister for psychological training of our team, because it was just sitting on the phone all day calling these people that didn't want to be called. They didn't want to talk to you. And the training that we went to was like, the conversion rate was 4 out of 100. So think about that. You had to get 96 no's to get 4 yeses. You would be at the end of an hour of call, you'd be like, you'd just be emotionally exhausted. I didn't like it. SEO is great. I love it. My website has all just been redone. I hired somebody. The SEO draws people to you. I remember one time searching schools in Halifax. It had nothing to do with real estate. I literally wanted to, I was doing my buyer's guide and I had some questions about schools in Halifax. And what was the very first thing that came up? Sandy Hines from Roll of Pages real estate site. His SEO was so good that as soon as I put schools in Halifax, up pops his website. That's good SEO. That is really good SEO. Social media. Social media is awesome. Some do really well. I do a lot of social media. I'm not gonna lie. I don't get business. I get a lot of people watch me. I have a lot of followers. But nobody's ever texted me from Instagram and said, I'd like to hire you. There's 2,000 agents in Halifax doing social media. So what you do in social media, plan it. Make sure you kind of stand out. If there's something that you're really good at, even if it's being silly, you know, do it. Because you want to stand out there. And then different portals, again, lead generation systems. That's what I consider portals. Oh, here comes my coffee. Broadcast and content creation. That's really good. I go on with Frank Cameron 4 times a year down in Eastern Passage. I don't know if there's anybody else here old enough to remember Frank Cameron from CBC, but he's 84 and he's
I
still.
was
out-
just gonna ask how old he was. I was thinking, is
He's
she talking
84.
Frank Cameron? Frank Cameron, but yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's 84. So
Wow.
sometimes like
Always
the
loved
I was there a few weeks ago and I have to pull Frank back to the conversation because I type 10 questions. I know what I want to talk about. I type 10 questions. I send them to Frank. Frank asks me the questions and we have the conversation. And that's the same way I do the CTV Morning Live. All right. We create the content and give it to them. Yeah. So sometimes, yeah, he went off on a whole different tangent. So, but it's great, but it's not free. So like I said, when you're a new agent, you want to find the free things. Again, TV shows, again, CTV Morning Live. It's not free. It's very expensive, right? I'll do it this year and I'll see how it goes. Live social media. There are agents that have had tremendous amount of success with live social media. I tried a couple lives and I'm old and not very techie, and I'm going to be upfront with you. I couldn't figure out how to turn the live off. So it like literally I couldn't figure out how to turn it off and I was embarrassed. So I never did again. My bad. I should be doing it. But live is really good. Live gets people to interact with you right away. Does anybody know how to turn off a live Instagram? How do you do that?
You just hit the, there should be a button. You just click the screen and then more options pop up. So you can't see those options when you're filming because they're distracting. So if you tap the screen, you'll be able to end it.
Oh,
But then it does take about like 6 seconds to kind of stop. So it still shows you recording. So you probably panicked thinking like it's not stopping and I pushed the
I did.
button, but give it a few seconds, it will stop.
Yeah. So there you go. So there's something that I screwed up and I've been too embarrassed or too nervous to try it again. So and here's the thing, when you have to face something that will make you grow, that you have to do it. So what I'll do is after I get off here, Flynn, I will try another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Know
All
if
right.
you need some help.
I will.
You can also ask people to join your lives. Like if you have a referral partner in BC, you can plan content with them and join with them. And that's a really fun way to talk about different markets and keep engaged and bring something different.
That's a great idea. Thanks. So on Instagram, I just saw you guys a lesson for Brenda today. So on Instagram, I just connect with this person. Is it like a Zoom?
Yeah, it is kind of like a Zoom. You'd have to kind of try it for like a split second, which isn't a bad thing to do, to tell like your audience that you're trying out your equipment and stuff. Nobody minds that stuff. But
Yeah.
you would say, like, if we were going to do one together, we would be prepared at the same time. And then it says, like, if I started it, you would know where I could put like join Brenda, and then you would come on and it would split the screen so we could have a conversation
Oh,
and talk about things. And then people could still engage in the comments as well.
you know what?
Right, we need a lesson on that. We need to
We-
see that in action.
We do, yeah.
It's good.
Then you and
you
I
can-
should do a live on perception of the market from an older agent and perception of the market from a newer agent.
Yeah, I'd be down
I-
to do that.
That would be really interesting to do. Blogs. I love blogging. I love blogging. I used to blog on a site called Active Rain. I used to pay $99 a year. Great site. If you go on Brenda Kay, I have extensive blogs on there. I got away from writing the blogs a little while ago. I've now started again, and one goes up every month. And remember, with your blogs, SEO, SEO, SEO. That's what you want. We now take all my monthly market updates. We do closed captioning in YouTube for the videos. So once now what we do is we copy that, we turn it into a blog. So there's a lot of work with punctuation and the way you talk, but here's the thing. What am I talking about constantly? I'm talking about the average price. I'm saying the word Halifax. I'm doing the thing. So that was one of the things my coach said to me, is turn those monthly updates into a blog and get it on, and that to help the SEO. So blogs are really easy to write. You
So
can-
for somebody that says they're not very techie, that sounds like a whole lot of techie stuff to me.
the turning my market updates into the blogs was my coach. No, I'm Holly. I'm not the least bit techie. And one little thing happens and I go, ooh, and I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah,
But here's the thing. I know what I don't know. And I have somebody that can do it for me.
right, yeah,
So that's the most important thing, is
yeah.
knowing what you don't know. Direct mail, postcard campaigns, expensive. They're very expensive. You can't do them just once. If you're going to do a postcard campaign, you have to commit for 12 months. Remember what I said? It takes at least 7 months, right? For people to even, so I did Porter's Lake for 1 year and no business, not one listing out of it. Special event cards. If you're going to take all like your past clients, you can go on Amazon and you can order a box of different cards, all occasion cards, whether they be there's sympathy, there's happy birthdays, all kinds of them in the box. If it's somebody's birthday, send a birthday card. So I have a sheet here, which I can't find because I'm looking for it. Okay, the first of every month, and it tells me who's 1 year since closing, buyer closing, sorry, 1 year since listing closing, whose birthdays are coming up this month, and any other special occasions. We have no other special occasions on this month. So these people will all get phone calls from me. And then they're actually in my calendar too. They come up at 6 a.m. every morning. So you might not want to do this, but I call my clients and believe me, I do not have a good singing voice, but I sing them happy birthday. I leave a message singing happy birthday to them. So, but sending a card in the mail, you wouldn't believe what difference that makes. 1 year anniversary, we send them a bouquet of flowers. We use Blumex, anywhere from $25 to $200, whatever you want to spend.
Now, Brenda, you mentioned listing anniversaries too. So if you listed a house and it's sold, obviously, follow up with those people on that, the anniversary of the closing of their house?
Yeah, like for instance, yesterday, I had a closing was on Cal Bay Road. And that's not Jimmy's full-time home, but I called Jimmy, the seller.
Right,
And,
okay, yeah.
you know, I had a conversation with him. If it's a buyer that's still in the area, or sorry, a seller that's still in the area, you have their new address, you've probably sold them into it,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And if you have a seller that has moved, for instance, say like Aaron across the street moved to Edmonton.
Mhm.
So I reach out to Aaron and say happy anniversary. And Aaron's military, and what might Aaron know? He might know other military people that now are leaving
Right.
Edmonton and coming to help.
Right, okay.
That's something new for me, Holly, because I used to, once somebody listed and they sold and they moved from here, I never thought of them again. I mean, they get my newsletters, they're in my database system, but I never personally reached out again.
Right.
The other reason the box of cards is really, really nice. The other day, one of my past clients, Paul Davis, he put on that he lost a relative. Right? So I send a sympathy card to him. So they're cheap. Go on Amazon, order a whole box. I love doing notes. That's one of my favorite things to do, is personal little notes. It's how I built a lot of these strategies that I'm talking about today, people, are what I did 14 years ago, 12, 14 years ago. And I still do some of them, but so you can go somewhere, just a minute, I gotta look at this bag, there it is. So this is a notepad. I know it's hard to see. I'm gonna stop the share just for a sec. So this is a notepad that I got made. And this is so when I want to write somebody a note, sorry, I just got to go back to our share. Here we go. Ooh. And I just sit and write a little note, and let me just start the show again. And I don't even really talk about, I sent one there, about a month ago to an old neighbor of mine and said, oh my God, Sandy, where have the years gone? We're grandmothers now, blah, blah. And it was like, you know, sometimes I really miss the old neighborhood. So, and that's all it was. Let me put the slideshow back on. How do you start the slideshow? Just a minute, people. Is there a trick here to starting it? There we go. We're back on. Okay. Promotional items, swag, gets expensive. Stop buying it years ago. I do not buy it. Nobody calls me. I don't buy pens. I don't buy keychains. I buy nothing. Again, you know, when you invest time and money into things and it doesn't work, as much as we say, oh, we're really nice people and we really like giving this stuff away, bullshit. We're giving this stuff away. We're buying it because we want those people to call us. We want them to think about us every time they look at the keychain. So if you like it and you're into it, please help yourself. I stopped over 10 years ago. I have no swag, nothing.
Did you ever try do we have shirts and stuff?
Mhm.
I feel like there's so many opportunities to wear like a shirt that says that you're a realtor when you go to like a yoga class or something, but
Yeah, if you go on to KW has a store. I love my KW clothes. I have a KW hat with bling that says KW because I'm like an old crow. I have my KW jacket. I have 2 KW really nice shirts. So if you guys ever watch any of my 60-second clips on my YouTube channel, I'm always in my KW shirts, either the red one or the black one. The red one lately because I can't find a black one. How do you lose clothes in your own house?
Oh, very easily.
Yeah, I did though.
Very easily.
I can't find that shirt. I've been looking for months.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't see the value in buying someone else a keychain with my contact information on it, but I do want to wear KW branded
Yeah.
stuff.
I love it. So when you go to family reunion, they have huge, like there's all kinds of swag people there. That's what they're selling. And that's where I buy my stuff. But you can go online. If you put like KW branded clothing, just Google that. You'll come up with, because there's different suppliers in the US. Like I said, my KW jacket is one of my favorite jackets to wear. It's super comfortable, it's lightweight, and once the weather changes, I'll have it on all the time. Yeah.
Oh, there is too. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, there is. So you can buy, like I said, I've also got the actual shirt, like a really nice black blouse that has the KW logo. So I have KW stuff I can dress up and I have KW stuff I can dress down. Yeah. So there's a realtor in Winnipeg. Her name is Nicole Hollicott. And every single video she wears the same, not the same t-shirt, don't get me wrong. She has different styles of t-shirts, but every one of them and every member on her team, it says your Winnipeg realtor. That's all she wears. Public relations, press, advice columns, news releases, and sponsorship. Sponsorship is great if you get a little bit of money ahead and you can afford it. I have 3 young boys in hockey that all wear Brenda Kay jerseys. Not that I had planned on doing 3 people, but it's 2 are past clients and 1's my nephew. I started it a few years ago, and another great place, if you can afford it, I don't do it, it's very expensive, your local rink. Hockey is huge here, right? We all know that. Okay, just one sec. Okay, prospecting versus marketing. Oh. Farming is both. Open houses, seminars, contests, client appreciation events. They're both. Networking, Sphere, past clients, allied resources, agents. I think of this more as prospecting myself, but these guys consider it both. And then purchased, referral networks, advertising networks, and clientele. They're saying, again, these definitely are both. Clientele, I'm not sure if I would agree with that. Any ahas from that section?
Brenda, what do you know about purchasing or retiring agents clientele? I've heard about that people sometimes do that, but in my mind, just because they had a great relationship with that realtor doesn't mean they're going to want to transfer it automatically over to you. How do you feel about that?
It's not something I would do, Tanya. That is a really good question. Years ago, when there were 6 real estate companies in the city, and there were about 800 realtors, that was a different story. But in today's world, I wouldn't do it. I would take that money, because you're exactly right. Right? Like for me, I'll give you an example. We had, for 30 years, we had this one salesperson. He's still a very good friend of ours, Perry Chippen. And when Perry first started selling to us in the 80s, he was with Simon Brothers. And then he went to Hub. And then he went to this one. And then he went to this. And you know what? Everywhere Perry went, that's where my husband bought. Because it was about Perry. Right? And the agent that if you buy their business, first of all, I wouldn't buy a business for a lump sum, because it's a service business, right? If I was to buy a business up front, like when I sold the Chris Brothers business, I was selling accounts that buy product every single week. It was a tangible product they bought every week. We had receivables. So that's how we knew the value, right? But if you're buying an agent's business, you're right, Tanya, you don't know who. The only way I would do it is if I hooked up with a like-minded realtor that had the same values I have, treated their clients the same way, so basically the same mission statement, I would work out an agreement with them that I would work their database and I would pay them a 25% referral fee on every bit of business I got out of their database.
Right, good idea.
That's the only way I do it.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Gold mine of referrals. You know what? Your database. I know I say this all the time. I just can't say enough about database. Client referrals. This is huge. When I get a client referral, I listed a place yesterday. Hallelujah. It's been quiet. I was referred by it doesn't matter. Her name's Marshy anyways. So Marshy referred me. I didn't even know if I was going up against 3 other agents. I didn't even know if I was getting it, but I sent flowers. I sent a Blumex. Remember that you guys would love Blumex. So I sent Marshy a really nice bouquet. I mean, I spent $40 and it was a thank you. Right. So here's what most realtors do. If somebody refers them, they don't send anything. They'll call and say, hey, thanks for the referral. But if they don't get the listing, they don't send anything. They don't spend any money. Right. Now, when this sells, I have a referral program depending on the value of the house, because I want to say thank you. I'm not buying business. I don't go out there and promote this. This is what I do. If somebody refers it, Marshy will get something. It's a gift card. So Marshy will get a gift card. And the value depends on the value of the house. The value correlates with that, right? But I always send the flowers because she thought of me. And that's important. Always provide value. KW app. I'm going to be upfront. I don't know much about the app. I don't use it. There's my techie ignorance coming in. I don't know it. So I don't know if you guys use it or not. If you like it, I hear it's great. Kelly Brown loves it. That's all I know about it. Share market statistics. Huge. Share those, right? Like I said, do things when you're talking to them, ask for the referrals. And do it in your own way that you're comfortable with. Like I said, I am not a fan of bold. I've done it 4 times. Literally almost got into a whatever with the instructor last time. I don't agree with bold. It's not me. I will never go that far outside my comfort zone because it is not me. So when you're talking to your clients, be your true self. If you're a person that you are what I call the bold person, and your sole purpose of picking up that phone, hey, how you doing? Just calling for business. I'm thinking of buying or selling right now. Do it. If that's you, do it, but it's not me. So that's the big thing. When you're calling and talking to people, just be your true self. Do you need a script in front of you? 100%. You need a script in front of you, right? Even the script that I said to you guys that I use, that was a typed out script that sat in front of me. So you can go on, you can get scripts online. You could ask the brokers for scripts. You could make up your own. I used to make up my own and I would type them out and then I would internalize them. Gary Keller calls it internalize. I didn't know what that meant when I first got to KW. Make it sound like yourself. Just make it sound like yourself. And what it does, it's like if you are in anybody here come from a business background where you had to get up in front of people and make presentations?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Did you do it without PowerPoint?
Sometimes.
PowerPoint, and I've spoken in front of groups of over 500 people with the teleprompter and everything, but no,
Right.
there was always a script there.
It keeps you on point. It keeps you on point. And even yesterday with Jimmy McDonald. I mean, Jimmy is also the grandfather to my grandson. So sometimes I'm on the phone with him for like 20 minutes. And I really want to, I gotta go, but I don't. I have the conversation with him. So yeah, so provide, and like I said, share market stats. If you're going to pick up the phone, if you're going to use what we're using right now for that conversation, know the market stats, right? Have some informative information. Show them that you know what you're talking about.
And Brenda, you go on Paragon and get that every week, right?
I do every Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
Every Monday I go on and a video goes out. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And then we have a template. We have a team template. Ashley puts what I've done in the template and it goes out to the girls. And they put it out on social media.
Right.
Yeah. And we actually put what I say on a Monday, we put that in the newsletter on Fridays. So people see it again.
Right.
So, because when you know those kind of stats, especially when you do, like for instance, out of the 55 sold, there were the 13 that went over asking. Those are really interesting conversations to have.
Yeah. I look at that every day. I just don't, I look at it, I guess, for my own information, but I never wrote it down, but I'm going to now.
Well, there's a difference between looking at the dailies. I look at the dailies every day. Than doing your Monday report. My Monday report is 100% different than the dailies.
Right, because it's for the week and you do solds and all that, right?
Well, I'm sitting down and I collect the information that I want, and then I sit here and I analyze the information. And then I write out what I want to say. So my Monday videos very rarely end the same. The first part always starts the same. The ending's normally different because I'm talking about, I'm in real time when I'm doing those. So it's something that directly relates to what happened in the last 7 days. If you're nervous about doing videos, scared of doing videos, do videos. Because remember, if you do not do what you're not comfortable doing, you won't grow. If you go back and look at I sent Ashley, who works with me, I sent Ashley a video I made in 2010. She fell off her chair laughing. She didn't even know it was me, because I 100% looked different, right? I had hair up to here. It was black, right? Like it was, and the video was, the quality, it was bad. It was bad. But you see, doing something that isn't perfect is better than doing nothing.
I like the videos that aren't perfect. If they're too perfect, like, I don't know, you don't get to see the humanity in the person,
You
right?
don't.
I don't, like if people stumble or.
Yeah, I agree, Tanya. I'm 100%. Yeah.
Almost every time I try to do something, my dog ends up barking or somebody rings the bell and.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And I don't correct everything, especially in my 60-second ones. Yesterday I recorded a longer video yesterday. And at the end, I kind of messed up a couple words, but we won't take that out.
Some of the best speakers actually put that into their talks just so they do sound human and not like a recording.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
This is all why I prefer live though, because it takes, to me, like if you make a mistake or your dog barks or something, it's out of your control. But if you're editing a video, it's because you're trying to get that perfect video. So it's too much time, thought. It's just quicker. Like you're actually going to get it done and do what you want to do live.
On my longer one, like some of my videos are 8 or 9 minutes long. Those are well edited, and I couldn't do those live. Like if you guys saw my blooper reel, like there's Monday mornings where, because we put one out about a month ago where I tried to say it like about 4 times. And finally it was like, blah, blah, blah. Are you fucking kidding me? Well, see, I can't leave that live in a video.
You
And that
can.
happens sometimes.
You can. Gary Vee swears all the time in everything he does and eats in
Yeah.
interviews. It's hilarious.
Oh, really? I'll have to watch that.
Gary Vee's
Yeah.
amazing.
The
Who
one,
is
the one thing that people do want to do though, is they want somebody to monitor them or to record themselves and play it back. Because so many people use, and there's bloody nothing worse than somebody who says 3 words and it's, 2 words and it's, 4 words and it's.
Is so hard. I agree with you. You are so right. I still use Yeah. It is,
Replace it with a breath.
yeah. I took public speaking years ago and it's tough. It's very, very tough. Same with
What
in
did
my videos. A lot of times you'll see me touch my hair, which you guys see me do here, or I'll flip my hair. I shouldn't do that either. I know that.
What course did you take, Brenda?
I took Toastmasters
Okay,
years ago.
I used to teach the CRISPR leadership course.
Oh, wow. I never heard of that one. Maybe you need
Oh,
to
no?
teach me that one again.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I do. I use it. I'm 100% guilty on that one. Yeah. I guess in one way it could make me look a little bit real, but it is, you're right. I don't think I use it every 3rd word, but I know I use it.
yeah, no, you're good, but there's some people, even in Keller Williams, you know, when you listen to the national talks, and I'm going crazy. I can't stand this person saying them one more time. But no, your sessions, Brenda, are second to none, and you could be national. You got the right lingo, you've got the great input, you got the experience that prove it's true. It's a pleasure listening to you every time we get the opportunity. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Again, reward for, and thank you with a handwritten note. There's nothing better than a handwritten note. Remember I told you guys, like all the years I did open houses, I would sit down on Monday mornings and it was more important for me to get the person's mailing address than their phone number. Even if they didn't want to give me their email, if they were being, difficult, thinking I was going to stalk them, could I at least get your mailing address? And they would get a thank you card. And you can go to the dollar store and buy blank thank you cards. And it was just a little note. Thanks so much for stopping by my open house. And when I would say to them at the open house, I would say, would you mind? Because back in that day, it was a piece of paper, now we have the open house app, but it was a piece of paper. And I would say, would you mind signing in? I promise I'm not going to stalk you, but I am going to send you a thank you card tomorrow. And I did. And then I evolved to my own thank you cards. So.
If I could just share one thing that I find annoying before we move too far along in a live video, it is my absolute pet peeve when I'm tuning into someone live and they spend the whole time going, okay, so we're here to talk about, oh, hey, Susie. Oh,
I
look,
know.
there's Brent. And then we're
I
here to
know.
talk about real estate. Oh my gosh, girl, how's your dog? It's like, what are we doing here?
I know.
So
I've watched those ones.
Oh, I
Yeah.
turn them off.
Yeah, it is annoying. It's very annoying. Yeah. Same with even if I'm watching a training and at the start of the training, the person's going, hey, Joey, you're here. Hey, so-and-so. Hey, so-and-so. Yeah, it's the same. I feel your pain there. Yeah. Agent to agent referrals. This has never been something that I really focused on. My coach is always after me to focus on this. I suggest, I do get them. I have, buyers coming, they have like $1 million+ budget this weekend. That was a referral from a Toronto agent that was searching KW Halifax. But there is some associations or some agent to agent referral groups you can join. I've always been meaning to look into them. This is just not one of the ones that I have used myself. but I suggest looking into them because I do know agents that are part of these national referral networking things. I know one agent that does about 30 of her ends a year are agent to agent referrals. That's a lot. So maintaining, well, first you want to grow, maintain the relationship and then manage the relationship. No. This is the KW referral. Is everybody aware of the referral network that KW has? No? If you're not, call Jessica and find out about it. It used to be, remember Linda and Shelley, it was the Kelly app, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could go on there and you could click a bunch and then a bunch could click you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, this one agent I know, 30 ends a year due to agent. So it's something good to look into. Worldwide referrals. Again, Jerry and Annette built a huge business over the years. Even prior to KW, they have U2K and they had an agent over there and they did so much business. It was crazy. It was crazy over the years. It was like almost every English buyer was buying in Fall River with Jerry and Annette for a while. Especially when the Irving shipyard was starting to bring people in, they established that connection so many years ago and it served them well. So if you want to reach out to an agent, think of a country where people tend to head this way. Right now we have the foreign buyer ban on. So I'd say don't do this for 2 years because they can't buy. Business to business referrals, again, anybody in business, they're entrepreneurs. A couple of my phone calls the other day were to people that I know own businesses. And I talked to them about their business. They talked to me about their business. Like for instance, I was talking to Don McKenzie, who owns East Wing Products. So I called Don, looking for business. Don knows that when somebody needs an HVAC, I'm going to give them East Wing's name and number. They're my go-to for it, right? So I made sure, like when I was calling them, hey, are you still NSP's top pick? You still on the site? Yep. How's your business? One of my things, you know what I want to know? What's the average cost of a heat pump now? Right? So are they 2,500? Are they 3,500? And of course I got the answer, well, Brenda, it depends on the size. It depends on that. But his end all offer or answer was about 2,500 for an average living room size heat pump. Right. And then I always ask, and it's one, it's so funny. When I'm talking to another business person, I have no problem saying, Dawn, do you know anyone looking to buy or sell right now? Like what's happening? What's going on around you? Right. So I have no problem because they are a business person. So, and that's what I'm calling for. Now, one of Dawn's best friends is Kippy Walker, who's been in the business for 35 years. So, but I still ask. Any ahas? What time is it? I always feel like I'm really bad at this when there's no ahas. No, nothing. Oh, okay. More sources. Geographic farming is huge. It's one of Tom Ferry's favorite lead generation systems. You want to pick an area of 200 houses. You want to go on, you pick the area based on turnover. There is formulas you can use to figure that out on Paragon. We all picked ours. Now, like I said, I picked the neighborhood I grew up in because there's so many seniors and baby boomers. I wanted that area. And there's 197 houses in that neighborhood that I grew up with. The other reason I liked that neighborhood is because I can put in personal notes into the newsletters. I do my own newsletters. We change them up every month, and they go out in the mail. If you don't have the money to go out in the mail, pick a route, and you don't even have to door knock it, because remember, these bags have holes in them. Just walk house to house and hang it on the door if you don't want a door knock. That's and pick an area. Any questions on geographic farming? Mhm. Is anybody doing geographic farming? Nobody? Anybody thinking they might like to try it?
I'm about to do it because I have 2 buyers looking in the same area. And they have a similar budget, so I'm about to do it. I bought the bags from
Okay.
Amazon, and I'm creating, I mean, my budget is extremely low at this stage in my career as a realtor, so I use a Word document with the orientation landscape, and I get 2 per page, and I use my guillotine paper cutter and cut them up, and I'm going out there this weekend because my buyers, it's going to be challenging the area they want to live in with their budget. So
So that, Tanya, is door knocking.
Okay.
Geographic farming is a completely different thing. Geographic farming is based on the turnover with the formulas used through Paragon. And you're going every month. Every month you're going.
So you're not door knocking on these doors?
Yeah, you can if you want to, but yesterday I door knocked, the other day I door knocked because I have buyers looking in a neighborhood in South End Halifax, right? When I'm going away next week, when I get back, I will continue to door knock that neighborhood because that's where I'm looking. My geographic farm is a completely different lead generation system, right? My geographic farm never changes. It's the same 197 houses every single month that get the newsletter, get different information, and I'm going to be door knocking in another neighborhood in a few weeks because I have a buyer looking in that neighborhood. But your geographic farm, you go on Paragon, you look at the turnover rate. There are formulas that you use to figure it out, and you see how many homes turned over. And that is your, like I said, even if you want to start with 50 or 100 or whatever, do you want to knock on those doors? Absolutely, if you want to knock on those doors, but you'll be knocking on the same doors every single month. It's a program that you put together and say, for the next 12 months, these are the 200 houses that I will go to once a month.
Okay. I'm going to do some research into that. Thank you.
Yeah. It's, where do you live?
I live in Waverly.
Yeah. So you want to pick an area that you want houses that are close together. And like I said, you want big turnover rates, right?
Yeah. So I started playing pickleball totally aside, and I didn't, I just loved it so much. I did it like 5 times in 1 week. My legs were very sore, and I was doing an open house, and I was going the days before to knock on the doors and invite the neighbors, and they were so far apart. And I mean, I was hobbling up the driveways. I'm like, this really kind of sucks. So yeah, I agree. When I look now, I'm like, those are too far apart. That driveway's too steep.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 80, but anyway.
Right. And they don't have, like, I have one of the girls on my team that lives way out, like by Peggy's Cove, but her door knocking, I built based on a formula of turnover. So she door knocks in Spryfield. So there's no emotional connection to Spryfield. This is a lead generation system. That's it. Now in her area, she's joined the Legion, and she's gotten involved in some community things. And that's how she's meeting people in her area. Because can you imagine trying to door knock Peggy's Cove Road? Right. So it's like her heart belongs to, because this is the conversation her and I had, your heart belongs to Peggy's Cove, your pocketbook belongs in Spryfield. There's two different things. So you don't want to do business in Peggy's Cove. You want to do it warmly, and you want to make connections, and you want to meet people in your community, and you want people to think of you as the community realtor, right? Like if you look at Ashley, at Allison Godso, like out that way, Allison's involved in everything. She gets a lot of business in her community, right? So, but a geographic farm, it's a lead generation method. I don't door knock mine. I mail out. So it costs me $200 a month. I mail it out. Now, when the weather gets warm in April, I will door knock. And because now they've been getting my things since last August. So probably in like the end of May or June, I'll door knock. I'll have a little something for them, whether it's my emergency thing, or I have special cookies made. But that's when I'll introduce, hey, I'm the agent that grew up in the neighborhood. I just want to take a minute and introduce myself. You've been getting my newsletters for 7 months. And if they want to talk, that's fine. And if they don't, but I'll introduce myself personally to it. So that's the only time but like I said, Nadia doesn't have the money to mail out 200 envelopes right now, and she walks it every month.
Well, I know her.
That-
She was on I met her in Bold, and she's a little spitfire. I love her.
She is. Yeah, she is. She'll try anything. Yeah, she'll try anything. So yeah. So don't, like I said, door knocking when you're looking for a house for a buyer, that's you're on a mission. You're door knocking a particular neighborhood because you have a buyer in that neighborhood. The following month, you might knock on a door in a different neighborhood because you have a buyer for that neighborhood. That's completely different than geographic farming. So
Thank you.
I think Melissa wants me to come in and teach geographic farming anyways. She's mentioned it to me twice, so.
I have a question. What are the bags you guys keep talking about?
You order them on Amazon, they're a clear bag that has a little hole.
Flynn, sorry,
and
I'll
you
give
can
you
hang doorknob. Just go on Amazon and type in clear doorknob hanging bags. It'll come up.
That's straightforward.
Here's the ones I bought. They came in a box of 1,000, so I've got my work cut out for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I buy. 6 by 12, box of 1,000. Yeah. Prospecting and marketing, like I said, two things: open houses, you're prospecting because you're talking to them. Open houses, use the Ford system. That's huge. Everybody knows what I mean about the Ford system. Do not sit in a chair and let people walk through the house. You're the host. So if you were showing your house to somebody, would you let them in your house and go, yeah, take a walk around, enjoy? You wouldn't. So don't do it at an open house. At an open house, treat the person that's coming in like they're a guest in your house, and use the Ford system. In between the Ford system, in between the Ford questions, that's when you're like my question. First, thank you so much for coming. I'm Brenda, blah, blah, blah. Are you currently in the market for a home, or are you just browsing today? Doesn't matter what the answer is, they get the same treatment. And then we move into the Ford and the spattering of real estate questions in between. So I can find out, are they a legitimate lead for me? Again, social media, it's tough. I struggle with social media. I really do. Anybody out there that follows me and sees the amount of stuff that goes out on my social media, I can't take credit for it. I have an amazing rock star that does that. And we still struggle. So I have not conquered that yet. I have not conquered that. Conversations. Guys, 10 conversations. 10 conversations, right? 2 opportunities. So that's 50 conversations a week. That's 10 opportunities, right? Every time you have a conversation with somebody, make a note of it and make a spreadsheet. Contacts, feed your database, feed it, feed it, feed it. Notes, so important, so important. So when I'm doing my phone, I'll be doing my phone calls when I get off here. I have my earpods in, and as we're talking, I'm typing. Every single person that I bring up, whether I talked to them the last time in 2016, 2019, 2021, I know exactly the conversation that we had. If you want a really good way before you make these calls, you can check them out on Facebook. If you have them on Facebook, go on Facebook, see what they've been up to. Oh my God, I can't believe little Johnny, he's doing so good in hockey this year. I follow you all the time, right? People want to know you're engaged with them. You're not just seeking business. That's my way of doing business. I'm not saying you guys have to do it that, but that's my way. I'm a warm business. I'm an I, not a D. Yeah, make your notes. Events and seminars, again, not gonna lie, don't have a lot of client events. They are huge. They're expensive. You can get your, if you have really strong support. The one we did, we had a lot of fun at it. We had a Halloween one, you know, but at the end of the day, even with getting some money from sponsored, like my mortgage broker, and my lawyer, my inspector was too cheap. He came and saying, it still ended up costing me about $1,000. A really good client event is going to run you anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000. So I had a one he did, not even a big bunch of people, a fair size up at the pub for beer and wings, and they each got 2 beers, that wings. He paid for the guy to come in and entertain, and he spent just over $3,000. I just haven't done that yet. But, and some, or you can be like Naz Claimy and have them that they're as big as a wedding. And Naz spends upwards of $10,000 to $12,000 on his client events. Seminars, great way. If you want to do something, you can do it online. You can get ideas. You can just Google and get ideas. Leads are everywhere: grocery store, coffee shop, repair shop. So remember what I was saying to you guys, everywhere I went, repair shop, hair salon, dentist, wherever I go, I collect a business card and they go in my database. And a note goes exactly what I was doing, why I was there, how I got talking to them. And you know what? There's hundreds of people in there with business cards, because now I have a 5,000 person database. So there's no way I'm going to focus on that 5,000. Remember what I said? 200's your core. So I have my top 200.
I have
Once
a
again-
question.
Mhm.
So if you go take your car to the shop and you get a business card, you bring it home, do you put them into Command and then put them on some kind of smart plan? Do you let them know if they're going to be getting an email from you?
Absolutely.
Send it to them and see if they decline it or unsubscribe?
No. I always, when I'm talking to the person, Flynn, I like literally be like, oh, can I grab one of your cards? You know, do you get any questions? Are you curious about real estate? Because it's so crazy right now. I'll do some sort of conversation with them and I'll say, look, you know what? Can I throw you in my database? I have a great newsletter that goes out on Fridays, and it's got the weather on it, and it's got Halifax events, something about the market, home tips. Is that okay? Now, prior to me doing a weekly one, I would say, hey, I got a great newsletter that comes up every month, right? Can I stick you in my database? So yes, Flynn, I always asked.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Actually, I walked into the dentist's office. This was a specialist that God love getting old, have to have some special work done, some bone work done. And I walk in, and it's past client of mine. He was a military dentist when I met him 10 years ago. And I said to him, his name's Eric, and I said, oh my God, Eric. I said, do you remember me? I'm your realtor. And he goes, how can I not remember you? He said, first I got a newsletter every month. He said, now I get one every week. So there you go.
Oh, that's awesome. I recently did a KW University training on smart plans and it was really helpful. So now I do want to be able to have more flowing conversations to get people on them.
Yeah, you want to have, I have on my Friday newsletters, I have a 26% open rate.
Well, that's
That's
good.
insane. That
I
is
bet if
so,
you added video, it would go up.
mine does have video.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So normally you're an open rate on a realtor newsletter might be 6, 7. It's not very high. Any kind of newsletter, it's not very high. So I'm like 23 to 26% every
Are
week.
yours set up through a smart plan?
No, mine are MailChimp.
Okay.
I like MailChimp because MailChimp, you don't, I don't know what a smart plan newsletter looks like. I used to use the one on Market Leader once a month. Oh, my chair dropped. And MailChimp is connected to Command.
Mhm.
There is a reason they connected it, right? MailChimp is the best system there is in my mind. MailChimp is the best system there is to use for newsletters. Because when you open up the email, there's the newsletter. You see it right there. You can build video into it. You can go on to MailChimp. It costs you, I have to pay for MailChimp because I have over 5,000 contacts now, but up to 5,000, you do not pay.
Huh.
And you can go on, there is all kinds of templates on there.
No.
Yeah, but if you go into KW, you can connect your Command and your MailChimp. Any ahas? Nothing?
I just got my.
Don't take the lack of feedback as no ahas. I'm just I'm busy typing everything you're saying over here.
Okay. And yeah, so capture every lead, your command, use your command opportunities. When you have a buyer, make sure you put your buyer in opportunity, especially when you get a year like this year, where, like I said, like agents are starting to peter off and get part-time jobs. You use the opportunities, you put in what the budget of the buyer is. You open up your opportunities and say, I have 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000 in my opportunities, in my pipeline. That doesn't mean that you've signed all those people, but those are serious people that have told you that they're planning to buy or sell this year. That's what you want in your opportunities. Okay. Lead generation plan, have a plan. I have always said your real estate business is like a table. You need 4 legs to hold the table up. Pick 4 ways you're going to do your lead generation marketing, 4 systems. Pick them and stick to them. Build and feed your database, capture leads from open houses. This is just kind of a recap. Build community with social media and capture leads. There is a gentleman named Kirby Chan. Kirby has a great Facebook way of capturing. That's his database. Facebook is his database. Referral strategy. Choose a geographic area to focus your door knocking, or you can mail whatever you want, and events and seminars. So I'm not even going to ask for ahas anymore. These are some really good questions. I read these this morning because I reviewed this again before I starting. So how has anybody's thinking changed since listening to today on what they heard?
I definitely like what you were saying about getting someone's information and letting them know that you're going to be putting them in their database, in your database, and getting something from you.
I always ask, Flynn. I always ask. I mean, I am the type of person that, yes, there are times where I will beg for forgiveness rather than ask, but when it comes to my database, because of spam, I do not take chances with that because I do not want to be reported for spam.
But I like how you worded it so it wasn't just a direct question, because just saying, do you want something in your email is gonna lead to a no. 9 times out of 10. Like, I really like your approach with that.
Yeah, nobody wants any more emails. What do you guys do when you go into a store now? This is what I do. Hey, can I have your email? Not a fucking chance.
I
'Cause
use,
they're
a
gonna
free, I
inundate
use a
you.
free Hotmail for all my shopping is a free Hotmail account. So if I'm in a store and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I have a coupon, I'll open my Hotmail on my phone and search the name of the store. But shopping does not get my regular email address. I have several.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. There's a couple stores that I like because I want their emails because I want to see what's going on, but that's it. But everywhere you go, that's what they want. Any ideas or mindsets that were new? Do you guys understand the difference between geographic farming and random door knocking? Yeah? No?
Yes.
Definitely do now.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess if there, if there's any things that you guys want to bring up, what tools, models, or systems will you use? Build your plan and how they'll make you accountable. Right?
I like you were also talking about this as almost having like a business plan and having like a mission statement and stuff. And those are things I haven't really sat down to do because there's so much involved with setting everything up. But those kind of fundamental things I think I'm ready for now because I feel like I've got my systems better prepared, but I haven't done those important things like having a mission statement. That's huge today for me.
When you're a business, if you were to open up a store that sold candy, you would write a business plan, right?
Yeah.
Same with real estate. So you're a business owner, and a business owner needs a business plan. So we write our business plan every year.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
everything is in the business plan. Our strengths, our weaknesses, our threats, our opportunities, our, what are our core values? Why are we in the business? What kind of transactions do we want to do? How are we going to reach the people we want? What are our 4 legs? The team has to write it all out. And then you follow your plan. If you fail to plan to fail. Has anyone not seen those posters? Nobody knows that saying? Okay, but that is the same. Yeah, it's one of those motivational posters that they used to have up in the HR offices. If you fail to plan to fail. That's what was on those posters. You need to have a plan and you need to follow your plan. And you really need to do it now. Because this shift is an economic shift. It's not an inventory shift. This is the first time it's an economic shift. And like I said, top agents in the city all across the country are doubling down. And if top agents are doubling down, it's tough. It's really tough out there.
That's been kind of scary as a new agent. I mean, I just hit my 1 year, but when I started, all of these tenured, experienced agents were nowhere to be seen and nowhere to be heard of. And now as the market shifts, like the exposure that they're coming forward with, and because they've done it in the past in another switching market or shifting market, it's aggressive. Like it's aggressive to someone who doesn't have that experience because we're still learning these steps. Whereas they've done it, so it's just like all of a sudden they've all come out of the woods together.
They always did, Flynn. These top agents, some of these ones, I'll use Sandra Pike for an example. She's a good friend of mine. She's a top agent. You guys would have never seen like her marketing budget you know, she's got, like, her marketing budget ranges between $80,000 and $100,000, right? She always had that. This year, she added billboards. This year, she doubled her Google. You know what I mean? They were always there. Right? So it's the same thing. So I have my business plan written. This is what I have targeted for sales, which means this is my marketing budget. So that marketing budget is being spent. Right now, that puts me behind the 8 ball because the market is not where it should be. But if I don't commit to sticking to that 10%, I'm not going to make what I had budgeted, what I had forecasted to make. So that's why these plans are so important to write, you know, and how many, like, I know how many transactions I have to do to survive. That means pay my personal bills and pay every single penny it costs me to be a realtor, including all my marketing. I know what that break even is. And every realtor should have that. And did they had a business plan? Did you guys all go to the business planning? Because this is all part of the business planning that they put on at KW. It is phenomenal what they teach you there. Yeah. So we are, like I said, we are back to doing things that, you know, you get so busy, you know, that you're doing 50 or 60 or 65 ends a year. Are you picking up the phone as much as you were in your first 5 years? No, you're not. Is everybody picking up their phone again? Yeah, everybody is. And that's not me talking. That's like, you know, international coaches talking. That's like Gary Keller talking, right? Every single coach, every single convention, every single thing today, this year has been about picking up the phone. Those who have the most conversations will do the most business. Whether you have those conversations because you have the money you can pay to get it out there, or you have the conversations because you're knocking on doors, or you're having the conversations because you have a database that you are consistently calling. Those are the agents that will do business this year. So I know a lot of people, here's a question I ask people, especially like when if I have a new agent come to my team, my first question for them is, prior to taking your real estate course and prior to writing your exam, did you give any thought as to how to get business? The answer is always no. Right? So, and here's the thing, when you do all these things that they teach you at KW, you will have a phenomenal career and you will love it. You will love it. It's the best thing I do. I love what I do. There's days I want to throw my computer through the window, right? Like things will happen. I have been working on a $2.5 million listing of an industrial building, and it's not listed yet. It's not signed up, right? My client gets a call from a guy in Ontario that offers her cash. It shit happens like that, right? I mean, I was like, I'm in the money. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. So next, move it aside and on to the next one. But if you do all these things and you follow the Ignite, you'll have a great career and you'll really enjoy it. That's my view on things. I don't know if anybody agrees. Shelley, do you agree? Linda? Did I lose you guys? Is Shelley gone?
I think
Shelley and
so.
Linda, they must be gone. There. Anyways, yes. And Kristen, Kristen Fudge. Oh, wow. Kristen, look at your parents.
Hi.
Hi. Look at your parents. You've watched how hard your parents work.
Yeah,
Don't they love it?
they absolutely love it.
They do. And real estate is a business that you put systems and models in place, you follow those systems and models. The market will always change, whether it be an economic factor, an inventory factor, a political factor. I have seen the market change all three. I've seen a political impact completely upend the market when the NDP came in, right? Like we were in a buyer's market on new construction. The NDP comes in, they offer this crazy political federal rebate back. It was insane. And this was in 2000, and I think 2009. Is that when he was, I think it was 2009, 2010, whenever he came into the province, and new construction went insane. It completely shifted us into a seller's market on new construction. So there's always going to be factors. What's going to make you a success is what systems and models do I have in place and how do I adapt to the markets? And you'll love what you do and you'll have a great career. Okay, that's it for me today.
Thanks, Brenda.
All right, see you later.